Okay, hi, good evening, everybody. Wherever you are in the world and whatever time you're experiencing, good evening. Welcome to Healthy Living, the natural way as we communicate on this level where we talk about sex and the different things as it relates to sex. So I have noticed that many persons have had lots of questions to ask, and this is a forum, this is an opportunity to ask. We are not limiting you and say, yes, for this live show, you must only ask about sex. You can ask any topic, or how does high blood pressure relate to sex? Any questions that you might have, feel free to ask it. Anything about sex and position and any myth that you might have, this is your opportunity to get them cleared up. So just feel comfortable asking me anything. We will chat a little bit. I'm going to try my best and stay with the standard English. Since so many persons are asking me to, talk English. But you're going to find that I'm going to break a little bit between the patois, Jamaican Creole patois, and the English language, because sometimes some of these things are best expressed from heart level using my heart language. All right. Again, welcome wherever you are. Viewing from, welcome. All right. So we're going to talk a little bit about sex and some of the very frequent questions or knowledge that persons need to know about sex. I'm going to be addressing a few of them. For my spiritual friends who are watching and are wondering, why would Maureen take up a challenge such as this? Well, they're teaching sex now in primary schools, I'm told. And very often, some of this knowledge is not as you and I from a spiritual level would probably want to have it. And so if we from spiritual levels don't speak about it, then we're going to be exposed to all types of knowledge, and our children will be. So I can guarantee you that we're going to try and keep the language clean so that even children can learn, because we do have a lot of myths and misunderstandings that are going out there. And I'm going to start with one very famous one that has driven me to doing this video. And I was watching something on TikTok, and I saw and somebody was playing a song, and it was saying 2-3 hours long they're going to sit. And I said to my sons, I said, do young people really believe that they can have sex for 2-3 hours? And my son said, Mommy, of course. And I said, and somebody sit in your belly for 2-3 hours. And the conversation went on. And then I realized that really somebody needs to come into the midst of all of this and straighten up a few of the information. So we're going to talk about defining now what is sex. When we talk about sex, what are we talking about? Personally for me, sex begins by just seeing the person. Sometimes you see a person, a man, and him really, really look good, and you communicate the language to him. So, boy, something I want to have sex with you, and him communicate back the same language and say, boy, something I want to have sex with you too. And then the conversation goes in that direction because both of us realize that we attract each other. Now, this attraction can be from the physical, just the physical, as well as we can exhibit or exude is the word I'm looking for. So we can give off what is called hormones or pheromones. So just like how the dogs know when they are in heat, because they give off hormones and one attract the other, the same thing happens with us as human beings. Yeah, it's true. So we give off messages in the atmosphere, in our aura, if you want to say that, that says to this guy, hey, I like you, or to that girl, I like you. That's my first way of having sex. If I see the guy and I say, so that boy, I like the guy, then I want to have sex with him. Believe it or not, that's my first way. My second way now of having sex is through a conversation. If a man can hold a good conversation, him get me solid. I mean, solid. Solid to the point where I'm telling you that I could, or we Jamaicans will come or discharge or whatever, him can get me just from a good, solid conversation. And the conversation doesn't mean it has to be about sex. So he could be an accountant and him just talk to me about accounts and make me understand it. Or if him talk to me about something social, anything at all. But his way of expressing, so because I am more of an audible person, so I will tend to want to hear before I would want to even act. The truth is, if you talk about appearance, which is another way that some persons get attracted, just by looking at the man or looking at the woman, you see how much money is spent in the media to make sure that the woman have curves or the man have a physique. It doesn't get this girl. But it does get a lot of people. Most people in the world are visible. They see their sight, what their eyes see, they buy. And so if they're selling a car, you see one nice sexy girl upon the car, or a husky man standing beside the car, because this is what drives the majority of us that are visible, what we see. So we see a nice sexy body, and that is sufficient. And so if you notice, we use the word sexy because of all the connotations that comes with it. The person is ready for sex, and all of that. So that's another way that some persons become enticed, attracted to sex. Okay, another way now that some persons do it, it's by touching. Right? Some of us, just a nice little gentle touch will do. Not true? Yeah. Some people are attracted by a gentle touch, which is good.
Yeah,
And so we move on from touching, because we're going to spend a lot of time looking into touching, because the aim of this is, while we say yes, it is to educate, but it is to help to foster. I'm going to say foster better relationships, especially among us Africans sometimes, because we're so busy trying to survive that we tend to ignore some of the little basics that makes our lives a little bit of honey and milk. Make it nice and sweet and spicy. So some of this is a part of it. So we're talking about touching. Another way that some persons are turned on, it's by communication. Sometimes just communicating, just a listening ear has done wonders. A lot of husbands and wives lose each other because they have stopped listening to each other. And so one man come outside and she started to say, you see him not treat me good. And the man sit down and listen. And him do me this and him do me that. And then the man said, say me you wouldn't do that, do. And the man could be there sitting and I think about him other 6 girls, So he takes the time while listening to you to think about all the other 6 girls. But you think saying just a penny what you were saying. You must focus on what you're saying when he's probably doesn't even really. But then you become so caught up in the fact that somebody's giving you attention that you become swept away and say, boy, but he wouldn't even pay me no attention. But the truth is that after him get you no more attention. He goes give it to somebody because you start becoming his problem. So you start dream about. So that's another way of getting this whole sex thing going. But to be truthful, most of what we call sex is in the mind. And our concept of sex very often begins when we were children. So can you understand why it is so important for us to try and capture the minds of our children and explain to them all this thing about sex? Because some of them will learn sex from friends, Some of them will learn sex from parents, because many of us will grow up in 1 and 2 bedrooms, and so the children hear what is happening, because there's a story that was told. Don't ask me if it is true. The pity them father tell me this one, and it goes like this, right? And say, one day one picnic go to school, and him say to him friends them, Johnny, you never know say candle can't eat. He say, candle can't eat. He say, yes, candle can't eat. Last night me hear my father said to mommy, turn off the candle, out the candle and give me peace. In his young mind, they were eating candles. So, right. So you see, sometimes children learn from what they see. Or living conditions sometimes is not conducive and they see more than they should see. And of course, the curious mind, sometimes they just want to hear too. And then they run come find out. So they'll peep and see. But the truth is that most of what we end up with as adults is what we gathered from our very tender, youthful age. And some scientists will tell you, there are psychologists and scientists who will tell you that even by the age of 5, you would have gathered most of this information. So can you understand why it is so important for us to capture the minds even before it gets to the age of 5? So be comfortable talking and expressing things about a healthy sex life, even to our children. All right, before I go on cutting on, are there any questions for me?
Yes, there's a question. How to heal hormone issues?
All right. How do we heal hormone issues? Is that hormone issues meaning you want to be able to send off the right hormones to the man? Or is it hormones affecting the periods, menopause? Tell me what kind of hormone issues are we asking about now? Are there any other questions while that person responds?
All right.
All right. So we continue talking a little bit about sexual. Question is ready?
A lot of women have said since COVID they no longer have menstrual cycle. Why is that?
Okay, since the COVID, lots of things have changed. And the menstrual cycles can be because of stress. We have entered into an extremely stressful situation. Things are well, we didn't know how long all of this crisis would have continued for. And so that stress can have its impact on the hormones, as well as, you'll realize that it will also have an impact on your social, your romance life as well. And it has. And I'm not talking about the impact because of those men who have taken the vaccine and are now having challenges with their erection. I'm talking about serious impact because money has changed, and that's an additional stress. Your jobs, many persons have lost their jobs, that's an additional stress. The vaccines and those who have caught the virus, and so a lot of things can impact on the woman's menstruation. But can it be corrected? Yes, easily. If you come to healthy living or hormone balancing formula, should be able to correct it. You might need some cleansing herbs to go with it as well, but it shouldn't take us more than 2 weeks to have that corrected.
All right, here's another question.
Yes.
Would you say that one should learn themselves sexually before knowing another?
We can't help but knowing ourselves sexually. And I'm going to take it from the perspective that I'm understanding the question to me. I would be saying that none of us will ever, given a few lifetime, meaning even a couple 70 years, will ever know all that is necessary when it comes on to sex, because you're talking about two human beings coming together and both from two different backgrounds, and there's going to be a whole lot thrown into it. But can you have an understanding of your own self and you're entering into the relationship? Sometimes it's going to be a little bit difficult because of all that it takes for you to even know your own self. Because you're talking about your physiological being, your psychological being, the being that you have genetically inherited. So you're talking about decades, millions of years of a personality that it took to make you who you are. So to say that you're going to have to know yourself might not be a possibility, but you need a basic understanding as to what it takes to make a relationship work. And even sometimes with the best of that, psychologists, doctors, there are still challenges. But what we do want to do is, presently, many persons are having issues with erectile challenges, many of our men. Some of this is physical and some of this is psychological. Some of this physical part is because they did not have an understanding as to how to use the tool that they have. And so this is a part of what we want to get into as well. How do I use my tool to satisfy the female that I have? How do I protect my tool so that I don't burn out myself with all of these ideologies about sex as they are going around? So, there's a few things that you have to take into consideration. We talk about knowing yourself. Knowing yourself to me is deeper than just saying, do I know that I have a penis, a vagina? It goes a little deeper into, we're talking about these sensual touches, or what scientists would call erogenous spots. So, a lot of people don't know that mosquitoes bite in our erogenous spots. So these are the spots that on the body that the Most High has created that actually makes you more sensuous, or immediately send messages to the brain and arouse the body for sex. So when you talk about knowing yourself, these are some of the things that you must know about yourself. But it's not something that you're going to learn from a textbook, but most of us will know from experience. When a man comes and he holds the hand, most men like to, if they're trying to get to you, your erogenous spot, or get your attention, an experienced lover or a man who is used to chasing women, you'll realize that they hold you from here, they hold your hand from here, and then they gently slide their hands down before shaking the hand. That's because many of them will know that this spot here on a woman is what is called the erogenous, but I'm borrowing that language, or her sensual spot. You notice mosquitoes will bite you here easily too. This is because there are nerve endings right here that's connected to the brain. And when a man truly knows how to play this area, girl, I'm telling you, you're almost in heaven. And we'll get to it. For the brother's sake, and for you sisters who want to increase the fun, the joy of your relationship, these are some of the things that we want to look into to make your life a little bit more fun. Yeah. Any more questions?
Next question: can you heal people for real or not?
Can I heal people for real or not? That's a deep question. Should I take the credit from the Creator to say that I heal people? God, the Creator, has done it. He has sworn by His name that He has created herbs to heal mankind of all their diseases. Who am I? Who am I to try and steal the credit of the Most High? A vessel. Only a vessel. A worthless piece of trash that He has taken up and given credence so that I can declare to you that your healing was placed here from the foundation of the earth. nobody's lies or distortions or scamming or can destroy what the Most High has done. And if they take me out there, to accomplish I'm done.